Our Lady of Sacred Heart Jr. Vann Kavals' high school athletic journey has been far from normal. Last season, Kavals was sidelined for the duration of the year after suffering a torn ACL during the first drive of the 2022 football season. Just 1 year later, after rehabbing his way back onto the field for his junior season, Kavals went down again, this time with a broken femur just 3 weeks into the season. But instead of dwelling on yet another setback, Kavals got straight to work, working his way back to full health.
As soon as it happened, I started physical therapy as soon as possible, and we worked really hard. And me and my friend Darion, who got hurt in the football season as well, we were going together and pushing each other as hard as we could. And he's coming along great, and I came along great as well. And we're both way better than we were when we went in.
This time around during the rehab process, Kavals was not alone, as he had his friend Darion Greer by his side and helped not only push the junior, but Kavals also was able to lend him a helping hand due to his past experiences with Greer's injury, which molded him into a better leader.
It's amazing, especially when it's your best friend and he's going through something I've been through, so I was able to help him along the process. It was truly amazing because we're able to push each other, and we still do it. We still go work out together. I still go with him sometimes, and we just push each other as hard as we can, and we're both going to be great. I feel like I've been through some stuff, which has helped me mature not only as a person but as a man. And I feel like, I'm not going to say I'm ahead of the game, but I'm where I should be. And being through the stuff I've been through, it's very easy for me to help people who are going through the same stuff I went through. And that it feels good to be able to know for my teammates that they could come lean on me whenever they want. And on the court, I lead not only by talking, but as example. And say somebody goes down, I'm the first person there to help them because I know what it feels like.
During his ACL rehab process, Kavals rehabbed with local strength and conditioning coach Gradell Kimbrough. During his rehab process this time around, he went back to Kimbrough and has been rehabbing with the strength and conditioning coach, who is now part of the football staff at the school. Kavals looks very highly of Kimbrough, who was one of his key pieces of the rehab process this time around.
Me and Darion go there pretty much every weekday if we don't have physical therapy. And if we do, we still try to fit it in. And I would say he's probably the biggest piece of my recovery so far. Even with basketball, we try to fit it around before or after practice. He's just such a big factor. We're already in the lab talking about football season again. And him being there, we know, and with what he's been through and where he's went, we know how hard I have to work to get there again. And we've been working on it pretty hard.
Being through major injuries before, Kavals was ready to attack the rehab process and has had the mindset of getting through this injury with his spirits high.
The main difference between the two is that after already being hurt once, I know in my mind that I was able to overcome it. Because there's times where you get sad and you get down on yourself, but already being through it once, and this was a lot worse than the new one, I knew I could do it, so I just kept pushing and I got through it. It feels pretty good. At first there were a little bit of worries, but now that I've proved to myself that I'm able to do it, then it makes me feel a lot better, and I got my confidence back up, and I feel like I'm better now than I was before I got hurt the second time.
After going down with the broken femur, Kavals set a lofty goal of being back for the start of the high school basketball season, which was just 2.5 months away since suffering the injury. Kavals ended up working his way back and was elated to be back for the start of the high school hoops season as he took the floor against Albert Gallatin on December 1st.
It was amazing. Nobody believed that I'd be able to get out there so early, and ever since I got hurt, I was telling everybody I'd be back for the very first basketball game. And when I was able to step on the court and start the very first game, it just overtook me. It was amazing. It felt so good.
From the outside, Chargers head boys basketball coach Mike Rodriguez has watched Kavals' recovery firsthand and has been very impressed with how Kavals has carried himself through the entire process.
Well, that itself was an incredible recovery. You break your femur in the second, third game of the football season, and you make such a recovery that you're back for the first game of basketball season. You know, what's unfortunate is that Vann, when he started playing basketball this season, he hadn't played since his freshman year. Because he sustained injuries the last 2 years in football. So that set him back a little bit skill-wise, but he's more than made up with that with his effort, with his intensity on the court and his leadership. And we couldn't ask for more. He's been everything we had hoped for and more. And he's getting rid of that rust every day that he's on the court.
With the recovery and goals being met, Rodriguez admires Kavals' work ethic throughout the entire process and hopes that any athlete who goes through an injury like Kavals suffered should attack it the way that he did.
You know what's amazing about Vann, and it's not lost upon any of us, not only was his recovery incredibly quick, is his intense work ethic, his desire to come back, his desire to be part of the group, part of the team. He's like that in everything he does, whether it's football, baseball, basketball. He's a three-sport athlete, and he's always there, and he's always working as hard as anyone in the gym or as hard as anyone on the football field. He certainly leads by example. Not only is he a vocal leader, he leads by his presence, by his actions, and the way he approaches his day-to-day. I mean, his work ethic is off the charts. And when he was injured and he couldn't walk and he was on crutches, he was still lifting every day. And he's just, you know, he's a great example for especially the younger players in our program. As a person, great student, great young man, incredibly polite. A lot of kids, after having a broken femur 1 year, or tearing his ACL the other year, a lot of young men would have reacted differently. And I just hope and pray that all the kids that suffer through something like that have that same work ethic and that desire to come back.
Having Kavals back was a huge boost for Rodriguez's squad as he brought back the size and toughness into the rotation. But not only the size and athleticism, but Rodriguez admires the way that Kavals works, and having him on the team provides the Chargers with a leader that leads by example.
Our basketball team this year suffered several injuries to some key starters that were returning from last year. We started our season with no returning starters from last year because we had two other young men that tore their ACLs, and one had a severe concussion during the season. So we came into the season as a very young and inexperienced team. We didn't know we were going to have Vann back, but getting him back certainly made a difference in our program this year. It brought that intensity, it brought that toughness that you need in the basketball court to succeed, and it brought the leadership that we needed. And he, along with a couple of my returning seniors, especially Greg and Franklin, Tyler, kids on our team, they've molded this group into a pretty good group, and they're battling hard every day.
With Kavals back on the court, he looks to move forward through the remainder of the basketball regular season in hopes of helping a young team itching for a spot at the postseason. For the Beaver County Times, I'm Morrison.